The stars outside the ship's window looked like frozen tears. The human engineer, Ethan Cole, sat alone in the repair bay of the galactic station Urian 9. The hum of the engines echoed softly as he worked on a damaged plasma coil. It had been 3 years since he came to this alien world, a place where humans were treated as outsiders, tolerated but never trusted. He liked it that way. After losing his wife in the Terran collapse wars, Ethan didn't want attachments. Work was easier than emotions. Machines didn't cry. Circuits didn't break your heart, but that night someone knocked on the metal door. It was strange, no one ever came to this part of the ship after curfew. He frowned, wiped the grease from his hands, and opened it. A small alien girl stood there. Her skin was pale blue, her big violet eyes filled with fear. She clutched a broken datapad to her chest like a lifeline. "Are you human?" she whispered. Ethan blinked. "Yes, you lost or something?" She nodded quickly, then shook her head. "No, I need your help, please," Ethan sighed. "Kid, it's late. Where's your—" Then she said something that froze him. "Please marry my mother." He blinked, stunned. "What?" The girl's eyes filled with tears that shimmered like crystal drops. "She cries every night since my father vanished. You're human like him. Maybe if you come home, she'll smile again." Ethan stared, unsure if he'd heard her right. Somewhere deep inside, something twisted, something he thought had died long ago. "What's your name, kid?" he asked softly. "Lyra," she said. "My father was human too. He disappeared 5 cycles ago. The council says he broke galactic law by helping my mother. They took him away. Now, she's all alone." Ethan's throat went dry. The story felt painfully familiar. Helping aliens was forbidden for humans under the Galactic Code of Purity. Many who tried were never seen again. Still, he couldn't ignore the trembling girl before him. "Where's your mother now?" he asked. "She works at the oxygen farms on level 9, Lyra whispered. "But she's sick. I heard her cough blood yesterday. Please, you fix machines. Can you fix people too?" Her innocent words cut through him like a blade. He sighed. "All right. Show me the way." They walked through the dim corridors of the space station. Alien lights flickered overhead. The air smelled of coolant and fear. Ethan noticed Lyra kept glancing around as if someone might follow. "Does anyone know you came here?" he asked. She shook her head. "If they find out, they'll take me too." That answer only raised more questions, but there was no time to ask. They reached a rusty hatch labeled Oxygen Maintenance Zone 9. The smell of metal and damp air filled his nose as they entered. Inside, a woman lay on a narrow bed, her breathing shallow. She looked older than she should have. Her skin the same pale blue as Lyra's, but with faint scars near her temples, the mark of alien labor implants. Her eyes opened weakly as they stepped in. "Lyra?" she whispered. "Mother, I brought him," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "He's human." The woman's gaze found Ethan, and for a moment time stopped. She looked at him as if she had seen a ghost. "You," she breathed. "You look just like him." Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Like who?" "My husband," she said weakly. "The human who saved us from the mines. The council said he betrayed the code. They said they erased him from existence." Ethan's hands shook. Erased. That was what they called it when the galactic law wiped someone's record from every system. Every database, like they had never existed. He stepped closer. "What was his name?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Cole. Ethan Cole." The world tilted around him. The air left his lungs. Lyra's confused eyes darted between them. "But that's me," Ethan whispered. The woman coughed hard, gasping for breath. "Then they failed to erase you completely." Before he could respond, alarms began to wail across the station. Red lights flashed. A robotic voice echoed through the hall. "Unauthorized human-alien contact detected. Enforcement units inbound." Lyra clung to her mother. Ethan looked toward the hatch. Armed drones were already approaching. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew one thing. This was no accident. Someone had set him up. And the girl who begged him to marry her mother might just be the key to the truth the Galactic Council wanted buried forever. The red alarm lights painted the walls like blood. Ethan's heart pounded as mechanical footsteps echoed closer. The enforcement drones were coming fast, silver, cold, and merciless. He turned to the alien woman and her daughter. "We have to go now." The woman struggled to stand, weak from illness. Lyra held her hand, frightened but brave. "They'll take us again," the child whispered. Not if I can help it, Ethan said, pulling a control panel open near the door. Sparks flew as he crossed 2 wires and the lights flickered. He knew these machines better than anyone. When I say run, don't look back. The woman's eyes met his. Why are you helping us, human? You don't even know who we are. Ethan hesitated. Maybe I don't, but I know what it's like to lose everything. He yanked the final wire. The corridor behind them went dark as power lines overloaded. The drones paused, confused by the sudden blackout. Run! Ethan shouted. They sprinted down the narrow metal hallway. Sirens wailed all around. Ethan could hear the whine of the drones rebooting behind them. He pushed the 2 into a maintenance shaft and sealed it shut just as a blue laser scorched the wall where he had been standing seconds ago. Inside the shaft, the air was tight and cold. The only light came from the small glowstone hanging from Lyra's neck, a tiny crystal that pulsed with soft violet light. Where does this lead? Ethan asked. To the old storage decks, Lyra said. Nobody goes there anymore, he nodded. Good. That's where we'll hide. They crawled through the metal tunnel until they reached an abandoned section of the station. Dust floated in the air and old machinery sat rusting in silence. Ethan helped the woman sit against a wall. She was breathing heavily. What's your name? He asked gently. Cirai, she whispered. My name is Cirai of the Elnari, Ethan nodded. Cirai, you said your husband was named Ethan Cole, but that's me. How is that possible? Cirai looked at him for a long moment, her eyes filled with both love and fear. You were my husband, she said quietly. Or at least, a version of you was. The council took you away 5 cycles ago. They said you had broken the galactic law by creating a forbidden hybrid, our daughter. Ethan froze. His mind couldn't process it. You're saying Lyra is half human? Cirai nodded weakly. Half human, half Elnari. The first of her kind. The council feared her existence could unite 2 races, so they erased you. But perhaps they only erased your memories, not your body. Ethan sat back, stunned. His head throbbed. He remembered nothing before 3 years ago, only waking up injured on a mining ship with a fake ID and no past. Erased, he muttered. They didn't kill me. They rewrote me. Lyra looked between them with wide eyes. You're my father? Ethan hesitated. He wanted to deny it. It sounded impossible. But as he looked at her glowing violet eyes, he saw a trace of his own reflection. I think I am, he said softly. The child threw her arms around him. I knew it. I knew you'd come back. Ethan's chest tightened. He felt warmth he hadn't felt in years, and then fear too. Because now they'd all be hunted. Cirai smiled weakly, her eyes filling with tears. She never stopped believing you'd return. Before he could answer, a soft mechanical sound echoed in the distance. Ethan stood up, grabbing a broken plasma wrench from the floor. Through a crack in the wall, he saw a patrol light sweeping the corridor. They found us, he said. Cirai clutched her daughter. You can't fight them all. Maybe not, Ethan replied, but I can buy you time. He stepped into the shadows as the first drone entered the deck. It scanned the area, a mechanical voice droning. Unauthorized life forms detected. Ethan threw the wrench, hitting a power conduit. Sparks exploded, filling the air with smoke. The drone fired blindly. He tackled it from behind, ripping out its core wires, but another drone appeared behind him, aiming a laser cannon. Suddenly, a bright violet light burst across the room. The drone froze midair, its metal body shaking before collapsing to the ground. Ethan turned. Lyra stood there, her eyes glowing like twin stars. The glowstone around her neck pulsed faster. Lyra, Cirai whispered, terrified. Stop. You'll draw too much power. But the girl only whispered, I don't want them to hurt us anymore. The room trembled. The remaining drones malfunctioned, their systems overloading. Then silence. Only the hum of broken circuits remained. Ethan stared in awe. What did you just do? Lyra looked down, her glow fading. I don't know. It just happens when I'm scared. Cirai's voice was soft and trembling. Her human side gives her emotions. Her Elnari side gives her control of energy. Together, she's something the galaxy has never seen before. Ethan realized the truth. The council wasn't afraid of him. They were afraid of her. He looked toward the door where more alarms were already echoing from afar. They'll come again, he said. We have to find answers, order and fast. Cirai nodded weakly. Then we go to the only place they can't reach us. The human core archives. That's where your past still sleeps. Ethan took a deep breath, his hand trembling as he looked at Lyra. Then that's where we're going, no matter what it takes. And as they vanished into the shadows of the abandoned deck, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, because the erased man had just begun to remember who he really was. The old storage decks of Urian 9 were colder than the rest of the station. Frost covered the metal pipes like thin glass veins, and every sound echoed endlessly in the hollow tunnels. Ethan led Sarai and Lyra through the maze, his pulse steady but his mind racing. For years he believed he was just a mechanic, a nameless man trying to survive. But now he knew he had a past, a family, and an erased life that someone didn't want him to remember. They reached a sealed gate at the end of the corridor. Faded letters on the panel read, "Human Core Archives, Restricted." Ethan placed his hand on the scanner. "Let's hope my old self left a few tricks behind." The screen blinked red. "Access denied," he frowned. "Figures," Lyra tilted her head. "Maybe I can help?" He smiled weakly. "Unless you can hack ancient human security." Before he could finish, her glowstone flickered. She touched the panel, and the circuits beneath her hand pulsed with violet light. The system glitched, then unlocked with a hiss. Ethan stared. "Well, I guess that works too." Lyra smiled shyly. "You're welcome." Inside the archives, everything was covered in dust and silence. Rows of floating data crystals filled the room, each one holding memories of people long gone. It was like walking through the minds of ghosts. Sarai leaned against a wall, coughing. Her illness was worsening. "Be careful," she whispered. "If the council erased your past, there's a reason. What you find here might destroy you." Ethan didn't answer. He stepped toward a glowing terminal in the center. As he approached, a voice echoed through the chamber, a voice that was his own. "Accessing identity file. Ethan Cole. Warning, classified level Omega." The hologram flickered to life. Ethan saw himself, younger, wearing a white engineering uniform with the galactic insignia. The holographic Ethan spoke. "If you're watching this, it means they erased you. Listen carefully. You were part of Project Horizon, the secret experiment to merge human and Elnari DNA. You volunteered after meeting Sarai on the mining colonies. You believed peace could be born from love, not war." Sarai gasped, tears filling her eyes. Ethan's chest tightened. But when the council found out Sarai was carrying Lyra, they ordered her termination. "You defied them. You stole the prototype memory core and escaped into the outer sectors. That's when they sent the Purge Division after you." Ethan's hands trembled. He could almost see it now, running through fire, holding Sarai's hand. The cries of a newborn echoing in the dark. The hologram continued. "They can't kill you. Ethan, your DNA is tied to the core network. They can only erase your mind. So I left this message in case you ever found your way back. Protect Lyra. She is the bridge between two worlds and the weapon they fear most." The recording ended. Silence filled the room. Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes shining. "You didn't just build machines, did you?" Ethan smiled sadly. "No, I built hope." Sarai reached for his hand. "You tried to save us. Even after everything, you came back." Before he could respond, the room shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. The metal gate behind them exploded inward, and a squad of enforcement troopers stormed in. Humanoid machines wrapped in black armor. "By order of the Galactic Council," their leader said. "You are all under arrest." Ethan grabbed Lyra and pushed her behind a console. "Stay down." He dove for cover as plasma shots tore through the room. Sparks flew, shattering the data crystals. The glowing fragments of memories scattered like falling stars. Sarai tried to stand but stumbled, too weak to move fast. A trooper grabbed her by the arm. Ethan saw red. He charged forward, slamming a wrench into the trooper's visor, shattering it. The machine sparked and fell. Another trooper aimed at him, but before it could shoot, a blinding wave of violet light burst from Lyra's body. All motion stopped. The troopers froze mid-step, their weapons raised but lifeless. The air vibrated with energy as Lyra floated a few inches off the ground, her hair glowing with silver threads of light. "Lyra," Sarai shouted. "You have to control it." But the girl's eyes were pure white now. "They want to take you away again." "I won't let them." The energy grew stronger. Circuits melted. The walls cracked. Ethan reached out, shouting over the storm. "Lyra, look at me." "It's me, your father." Her gaze flickered for a second. "Papa," the light dimmed. The troopers collapsed. Lyra fell into Ethan's arms, unconscious. He held her tightly, trembling. "It's okay, baby. I've got you." Sarai looked at them both, tears running down her face. "The power is growing. Soon she won't be able to control it. We must find someone who can help." Ethan nodded. "There's only one person who might know. The human who built the erasure system." Sarai's expression darkened. "You mean your old commander?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "Yes, Admiral Varen. The man who destroyed our lives." He stood, holding his daughter close, staring into the shadows where sparks still danced. "I'm done running," he said quietly. "It's time to make the galaxy remember me." The corridors of Urion 9 were burning behind them. Flames and smoke followed as Ethan carried Lyra through the hidden tunnels that led to the outer docks. Sarai limped beside him, clutching her side. The sound of distant sirens echoed through the metal halls like angry ghosts. They finally reached Dock Sector 12, dark, silent, and forgotten. Old ships slept there, covered in dust and rust. One of them, a small cargo vessel marked Horizon's Echo, still had power running through its frame. Ethan placed Lyra on a seat inside and quickly began to power up the engines. "We need to leave orbit before the Council locks down the station." Sarai coughed, her face pale. "Where are we going?" "To find Admiral Varen," Ethan said. "He was the head of Project Horizon. If anyone knows the truth behind the erasures, it's him." Sarai's eyes widened. "You're going to the core systems?" "That's suicide," Ethan gave a thin smile. "I've already died once. What's the worst they can do?" The engines roared to life. The ship trembled as it lifted from the dock. Outside, the stars stretched into long lines as they jumped into hyperspace. For a while, silence filled the cabin. Lyra slept, her small hand holding the glowing stone around her neck. Ethan glanced at her, his expression softening. "She's stronger than I imagined," he said quietly. Sarai nodded weakly. Her powers awaken with emotion. "She can sense energy, even bend it, but it's killing her." Ethan turned sharply. "What do you mean?" "Her body isn't made to handle both human and Elnari energies," Sarai said. "Every time she releases that much power, it burns her cells. That's why we need help." He clenched his fists. "Then we'll find it. I'll tear through every system, every ship, every law if I have to." For a moment, Sarai smiled, the same gentle smile that once made him believe peace was possible. "You haven't changed," she whispered. "Even when you can't remember, your heart stays the same." The words struck him deeper than any weapon could. Hours later, the ship exited hyperspace near a massive planet, Velis Prime, home to the Human Council and the secret base of Admiral Varen. The planet glowed with golden cities and thick security grids. Getting in would be impossible without clearance. Ethan stared at the holographic map. "There's an old maintenance channel under the Capitol. If we cloak the ship, we can sneak through." Sarai frowned. "You sound like you've done this before." "Maybe I have," he muttered. As they descended into the planet's atmosphere, Ethan felt something stir inside him. Faint flashes of memory. A metal room, a voice shouting his name, a man with cold gray eyes saying, "You are the experiment, Cole, not her." His hands trembled on the controls. "They didn't just erase my memory," he whispered. "They changed me." Sarai looked at him in shock. "What do you mean?" "I think I was part of the same experiment. I'm not fully human anymore." Before Sarai could answer, the ship's alarm blared. "Incoming patrol craft!" 3 Council fighters appeared on the radar, closing in fast. "Hold tight," Ethan shouted. He spun the ship downward, diving into the cloud layers. Plasma bolts streaked past them, lighting up the sky. One hit the wing, shaking the ship violently. Lyra woke up screaming, "Papa! It's okay!" he shouted. "I've got you." He fired back, hitting one fighter and sending it spiraling into the clouds. The others chased them lower, until Ethan activated the cloaking field. The ship vanished from radar. The fighters flew past, confused. Ethan guided the ship into the shadow of a giant refinery complex, landing on an old platform. The engines hissed as they powered down. Sarai looked at him, trembling. "You're insane." "Maybe," Ethan said, smirking. "But we're alive." They stepped out onto the platform. Wind howled through the steel structures around them. Far below, golden lights shimmered across the endless city. Ethan looked toward the horizon. Varen's base is beneath the Council Citadel. "We'll have to go underground." Sarai shook her head. He'll have soldiers everywhere. I know, Ethan said. But if he truly erased me, he'll remember my face. And I'll make him remember what he did. As they moved through the maze of metal bridges, Lyra stopped suddenly. Her eyes glowed faintly. Someone's coming, Ethan froze. How many? She closed her eyes. Just one. But his energy feels strange. A shadow appeared from behind a pillar. Tall, cloaked in black armor. The man's face was hidden behind a metallic mask, but his voice was calm and familiar. Ethan Cole, he said. You should not have returned. Ethan lifted his blaster. Varen. The man removed his mask, revealing a scarred, weathered face. His gray eyes gleamed like steel. I warned you once, Varen said quietly. The galaxy cannot handle the truth you carry. You were supposed to stay erased. Ethan stepped forward, rage burning in his voice. You erased my life, my wife, my child. Tell me why. Varen looked at Lyra, his expression unreadable. Because that child is not just a bridge between two species. She is the key to a weapon older than the Council itself. Sarai gasped. What are you talking about? Varen turned his gaze toward the dark sky. Project Horizon wasn't about peace, Ethan. It was about control. Lyra's power comes from something ancient, something we barely understood. And now it's waking up. Before Ethan could respond, the ground beneath them began to shake. A low rumbling hum filled the air like a heartbeat echoing through metal. Varen's eyes widened. It's already begun. The sky turned violet. Lyra clutched her chest, glowing brighter than ever before. Ethan grabbed her shoulders, shouting, Lyra! What's happening? She looked up at him, tears glowing on her cheeks. Papa, I can hear them. Who? He demanded. The stars, she whispered. They're calling my name. The sky above Velis Prime burned violet. Strange energy waves rippled through the clouds, lighting up the entire horizon. Ethan could feel the vibration in his bones, like the planet itself was alive and whispering. Lyra's body glowed brighter, her hair floating as if pulled by invisible hands. Sarai tried to reach her, but the air around the child shimmered with power, pushing everything away. Lyra.
Stay with us!
Ethan shouted. The little girl looked terrified, her eyes pure white now. I can't stop it. They're talking to me. Varen's voice cut through the storm. She's connecting to the celestial network. Ethan turned to him, furious. What are you talking about? Varen stepped closer, his cloak flapping in the wind. The network was built thousands of years before the Council, an ancient system buried beneath the stars. It holds the memory of every world that ever lived. When you mixed human and Elnari DNA, you created a key to awaken it. Sarai's eyes widened. So that's why you hunted us. You were afraid of her. No, Varen said grimly. We were afraid of what she could unleash. The platform trembled again. Ethan pulled Lyra into his arms, but energy sparked around her like lightning. The air hummed with an otherworldly rhythm, a pulse older than any civilization. Lyra, listen to me. Ethan shouted over the storm. You're in control. You're stronger than this. Her small voice quivered. Papa, they're showing me things. What things? Worlds burning, stars dying, people screaming in the dark, Sarai gasped. She's seeing the old war. The celestial collapse. Varen nodded slowly. Exactly. The network remembers everything. And now it's choosing her to finish what it started. Ethan tightened his hold. No, she's just a child. Varen's cold eyes softened for a brief moment. You think I wanted this? I tried to stop the Council from using her. But when you ran, they made me erase you instead. Ethan stared at him, rage and disbelief twisting inside. You destroyed my life because you were afraid of the truth. I did it to protect her, Varen roared. If the Council had found Lyra back then, they would have turned her into a weapon. Erasing you was the only way to make her disappear. The truth hit like a thunderclap. Ethan froze. You saved her? Varen nodded. I buried the records. I wiped your mind and scattered your DNA trail through the colonies. It was the only way to keep you alive. Ethan's anger faltered. Then why come after us now? Varen looked up at the glowing sky. Because it's too late. The network has sensed her. Every machine in the core systems will come for her. And if she can't control the connection... He didn't finish the sentence. The ground cracked beneath them, glowing lines spreading like lightning veins. Ethan grabbed Sarai's hand. We need to move. Varen shouted, Follow me. There's a safe zone under the Citadel. They ran across the trembling platform as pieces of metal began to fall from above. In the distance, the golden towers of Velis Prime flickered like dying stars. Ethan carried Lyra, who was still glowing faintly. "Hold on, sweetheart. We're almost there," but she whispered weakly. "They're calling me home." "Don't listen to them," Ethan said. "You're home with us." As they reached a shattered tunnel beneath the citadel, the tremors stopped suddenly. A deep silence followed, heavy and unnatural. Varen paused. "It's gone quiet." "That's not good." A blinding light erupted from the city above. Ethan shielded his eyes. From the heart of the citadel, a massive structure began to rise. A colossal tower of white energy twisting into the sky. Sarai's voice trembled. "What is that?" Varen's expression darkened. "The core. The council activated the failsafe. They're going to use the network before she does." "Use it for what?" Ethan demanded. Varen looked at him with grim certainty. "To erase every hybrid life form in the galaxy." "To erase her?" Ethan's blood ran cold. He turned to Sarai. "We have to destroy that core." Sarai shook her head weakly. "You can't. It's powered by the network itself." Lyra stirred in his arms, whispering, "Papa, I can stop it." Ethan looked down in shock. "No, you're too weak." She smiled faintly, tears shining like tiny stars. "You always said I was born for something great." Varen stepped forward, his voice hard. "If she tries to shut it down alone, it'll kill her." Ethan's heart pounded. He looked at Sarai, her tired, determined eyes met his. "If she doesn't, the galaxy dies," she whispered. The words hung in the air like a final judgment. Ethan turned back to his daughter. "If you're going to do this, you're not doing it alone." He pressed his forehead against hers. "We'll do it together." Lyra smiled softly. "Okay, Papa." Varen watched as father and daughter stepped toward the glowing tunnel that led into the core. He lowered his head, whispering, "May the stars forgive us all." As they disappeared into the light, the air trembled again, and a deep ancient voice whispered through the network. "The bridge has awakened." The cycle begins anew. The tunnel beneath the citadel felt endless. Electric light pulsed through the walls like the planet itself had veins of living energy. Ethan carried Lyra in his arms, following Varen through the dark. Sarai walked behind them, weak but determined, her breathing shallow. At the end of the tunnel, a vast metal gate loomed. Strange symbols glowed across its surface, ancient and alien. Varen stopped and placed his hand on the console. "This is it," he said. "The entrance to the core." Ethan looked at him, his voice tight. "What's waiting for us in there?" "The truth," Varen replied. "And perhaps the end of everything." The gate slid open with a low metallic groan. Beyond it was a massive chamber filled with light. The floor was made of glass, revealing a swirling ocean of energy beneath, like stars trapped in liquid form. In the center floated a crystalline sphere the size of a city. It pulsed in rhythm with Lyra's heartbeat. Ethan stared in awe. "That's the celestial network?" Varen nodded. "Its heart. Every thought, every soul, every memory in the galaxy flows through this place. And now, it knows she's here." Lyra stirred weakly in Ethan's arms. "Papa, it's calling me." "Don't listen to it," Ethan said softly. "It's not your voice." But the sphere shimmered, and a voice echoed through the air, deep and calm, neither male nor female. "Child of two worlds, you have awakened the bridge." Lyra's eyes glowed faintly. "Who are you?" "We are what remains of the first ones. We built the stars, and the network to remember them. But your kind forgot us. Now you must restore balance." Varen stepped forward, shouting, "You want to use her as a weapon, just like the council did?" "No," the voice replied. "She is not a weapon. She is the key. Through her, the network can rewrite what was broken, but she must surrender her essence to us." Ethan's heart froze. "Surrender, you mean? She has to die?" "Not die. Become part of the network and eternal, connected to every star." "The choice is hers." Sarai fell to her knees. "No, she's just a child." Lyra looked at Ethan, fear and confusion in her glowing eyes. "Papa, I don't want to go away." Ethan held her tightly. "You're not going anywhere. We'll find another way." Varen's voice was low. "If she doesn't connect, the core will keep expanding. It'll consume every world. She's the only one who can stop it." Ethan's mind raced. He looked at the sphere. It was pulsing faster now, cracks forming across its surface. The hum grew louder, shaking the ground beneath them. Sarai grabbed his arm. "Ethan, if she merges, she'll stop the collapse. But she'll be gone." He looked at his wife, at the woman who had risked everything for love. "I can't lose her," he whispered. Varen stepped forward, his voice firm. "Then you must take her place." Ethan blinked. "What?" "The network needs a bridge, human mind, Elnari energy. You share her DNA. You can anchor her without letting it consume her." Ethan stared at him, realization dawning. "You're saying I connect with her and hold the power inside me? It will destroy you," Varen warned. "But she'll live." Ethan didn't hesitate. "Then that's what I'll do." Sarai's eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, no. There has to be another way." He turned to her, smiling sadly. "You once told me love could build peace. Maybe it can save it too." He placed Lyra's small hand on his chest. "Whatever happens, don't be afraid." Lyra's tears shimmered like silver. "I don't want to lose you again." He kissed her forehead. "You'll never lose me. I'll always be with you, in the stars, in every breath." The ground shook harder as the core's energy spiraled out of control. Ethan stepped forward, facing the glowing sphere. The light wrapped around him like a storm. "Network!" he shouted. "If you want the bridge, take me instead." There was silence, then a blinding flash. The energy exploded outward, surrounding Ethan and Lyra in a halo of light. Sarai screamed their names as the entire chamber filled with fire and sound. When the light faded, Ethan was gone. Only the echo of his voice lingered in the air. "Protect her." "She's the future." Lyra collapsed to the floor, her glow fading. The core's energy calmed, returning to stillness. The tremors stopped. Sarai crawled to her daughter, holding her close. "Lyra, talk to me." The child opened her eyes, now a soft blue instead of violet. "Mama," she whispered. "Papa's gone, but I can still feel him." Sarai sobbed quietly. "He's part of the stars now." Varen stood at the edge of the chamber, looking into the silent core. "He saved us all," he said softly. "But the council will come soon. We must leave before they find her." Sarai nodded weakly, cradling her daughter. As they walked toward the exit, the light of the network flickered once more, forming a faint image of Ethan's face in the glowing crystal. He smiled, and then he whispered into the silence, "This isn't the end." 10 years later, the galaxy had changed. The war between the Council and the colonies had ended not by force but by silence. The core had gone dormant after the event known as the Lightfall, and every species now whispered about the human who had vanished into the stars to save them all. His name was Ethan Cole. Some called him a legend, others called him a myth. But to one young woman standing beneath the glowing dome of the rebuilt Urian 9 station, he was simply Papa. Lyra Cole looked out at the stars, her long silver hair shining under the light of twin moons. Her eyes, now a calm mix of blue and violet, reflected both human warmth and Elnari strength. Around her neck hung the same glowstone she had worn as a child. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. The galaxy had not forgotten her father's sacrifice, nor had she. Behind her, Sarai approached slowly, leaning on a metal cane. Time had made her weaker, but her eyes still carried that same fierce love. "You still come here every night," she said softly. Lyra smiled faintly. "It's the only place I feel close to him. The stars feel alive here." Sarai reached out and touched her daughter's arm. "He is alive, Lyra, in you. You carry his heart," Lyra nodded. But deep inside, she felt something else. Something she hadn't told her mother. For months, she had been hearing whispers in her dreams. Voices calling from the void. The same voice that once spoke through the network. The bridge is not broken. The cycle must complete. At first, she ignored it. But lately, the glowstone around her neck had begun to pulse again, stronger each night. She looked out the window. "If he's really still out there, maybe I can bring him back." Sarai's eyes widened. "Lyra, no. You promised. The network is too dangerous. It nearly destroyed you once." Lyra turned toward her mother, her expression calm but filled with quiet fire. "The galaxy is changing again, Mama. The Council is rebuilding their armies. They're afraid of what I might do, or what I might remember." Sarai gripped her cane tighter. "Then stay hidden, live free. That's what your father wanted." Lyra shook her head gently. "No, he didn't die so we could hide. He died so we could choose, and I'm choosing to finish what he started." Before Sarai could respond, the floor vibrated slightly. A low hum filled the air. The lights flickered. Then the station's alarm blared. Lyra's eyes went wide. What's happening? A young officer ran into the observatory. Commander Cole, the core signal is back online. Lyra's heart pounded. Where? Coordinates traced to the outer ring, Sector Theta, Sarai gasped. That's where your father vanished. Lyra clenched her fists. Prepare the ship, Commander, the officer asked. She turned to him, her voice steady. I'm going to bring him home. Hours later, Lyra stood aboard the Horizon's Echo 2, a rebuilt version of her father's old ship. The engines purred softly beneath her feet. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. As they entered hyperspace, Lyra opened her palm. The glowstone hovered above it, shining brighter than ever before. Inside the light, she could almost see his face, her father smiling faintly. Guide me, Papa, she whispered. When they reached Sector Theta, the stars were darker. The core's remains floated there, a massive, shattered sphere of light fragments drifting through space. Yet in the center of that broken field, something still pulsed faintly. Lyra's sensors beeped. Energy signature detected, the computer said. Her voice shook. It's him. She stepped closer to the viewing glass. Through the debris, she saw it, a faint figure of light floating silently in the void. Ethan Cole. His body was gone, but his form glowed with starlight. Tears filled her eyes. Papa. Then his voice echoed in her mind. Lyra, my bridge, she gasped. I can hear you. You shouldn't have come. The network isn't asleep, it's waiting. It wants to be reborn through you. Lyra's hand trembled. Then we'll stop it together. You don't understand. If you connect to it again, you'll lose yourself. She smiled sadly. You once gave your life to save mine. Let me return the favor. The glowstone flared. Beams of violet light shot outward, linking her ship to the floating fragments of the core. Energy surrounded her, pulling her into the same current of stars her father had entered years ago. Inside the light, she saw him, not as a ghost but as a living memory. Ethan reached for her. Lyra. She took his hand and the network roared awake. Images flashed across their minds. Worlds healing, oceans returning, new life blooming across dead planets. The network wasn't a weapon anymore. It was reborn through her heart. When the light faded, Lyra stood alone in the cockpit, her eyes glowing faintly blue. The core had vanished. The stars shone brighter than ever. Sarai's voice crackled through the comms. Lyra, are you there? Lyra smiled softly. I'm here, Mama, and so is he. Far beyond, in the heart of the galaxy, the stars pulsed once, like a heartbeat. The galaxy whispered the name of the man who had changed everything, Ethan Cole. And beside his eternal light, his daughter, the bridge between worlds, shined on, guarding the peace he had built with his final breath.